friends, Mrs. Pandelitas here again. This lesson is intended for enrichment or preschoolers. So hope everyone who celebrated Easter or Passover had a nice celebration, however you celebrate. I hope it was wonderful. We had a nice time yesterday here. So today's lesson is going to be making an ice cream cone of sorts, and Sophia, my assistant, may zoom in on it. Thank you. Because at this time of year, I don't know about you, but we have started to really crave ice cream, especially when the weather gets warmer. So I thought this would be kind of appropriate for today. So let's go over the supplies. If Soap wants to come around this way, so we need one large piece of construction paper, and it can be whatever color you choose. Then we need a few smaller pieces of construction paper that are going to represent the different colors of ice cream. A small piece of cardboard, which this I just took from a package that arrived. Something like a cereal box can also work fine for this. We need a pencil, a scissors, a couple of paintbrushes. The three colors of paints that we'll need today are brown, red, and white. We need a watercolor, a water container, and some sort of I just use a plastic lid to put my paints on, but if you can't find a plastic lid, you can use a piece of aluminum foil and some glue. So that's what we're going to need today. Okay, so Sophia, would you like to say hi?
Sure, I'm
Okay.
in my pajamas.
Okay, yeah, which is probably what a lot of people are in.
Hi everyone.
Okay. All right. So if you want to, okay, you've got above me, good. So the first thing you're going to do is take your large piece of construction paper and we're going to fold it in half, the long way, or what we like to call at school, the hot dog way. Yes, okay, so we fold it like this, and parents, you probably will have to help. This is a little tricky, all right? So we start from the middle, we press down, and then we go from side to side. Press one way, press the other way, all right? And we should end up with one long, narrow piece of paper, all right? You can unfold it, and then we're going to cut that piece of construction paper along that line. There we go. Now, we have one, we're only going to need one half, so the other half you can just set aside and put into your scrap pile, which I have a big one that I use for all sorts of things. Okay, so we've got our piece of paper. Again, we can set this aside for a moment. And what we're going to do next is we're going to make a tracer for the scoops. Okay, so let's show the scoops for a moment. The ice cream scoops are about the size of a fist, a little bit bigger, all right? And they have a half circle basically on one side and then kind of a little curvy side. So if you take your small piece of cardboard, a fist size, just so you kind of get the idea, all right? We have a smooth sort of half circle and then kind of a wobbly side, curvy side, all right? So parents, this is kind of your job in this particular lesson. And we're going to cut it out. All right. And this will be used as a tracer for our enrichment friends or preschool friends to trace around. This is a skill that most of our younger friends are quite good at. All right. So now I've got my tracer for my ice cream scoops. I'm going to take one piece of paper at a time of my colors. I chose pink as one of my colors because I like strawberry ice cream. So this is supposed to represent the strawberry colored ice cream. I'm going to take a pencil, trace around it, and friends, go quite slowly, all right? And if we make a mistake and kind of go like that, oops, that's all right. We just keep going. We're going to cut that out anyway. And sometimes we find that when we're tracing around, we go up onto the tracer as well, and that's okay. It's just a tracer. So there's one. I'm going to make 3 scoops, and I'm wondering if anyone can guess what flavor ice cream this light green is supposed to represent. I'll tell you, it's supposed to be mint chocolate chip. because that's, again, one of my favorites. All right, so there's a second scoop. And here comes my third scoop, which is quite bright. This one is supposed to represent orange sherbet. All right, so there we go. I got 3 scoops of ice cream, okay? And now, friends, you're going to try to cut out your ice cream scoops as best you can, all right? And I know some of you find this a little tricky. Let's do a quick reminder on how you hold your scissors, all right? So if you have a scissors, a smaller one than I have a very big adult size one, but you should have a small one. Remember, the smaller hole is where your thumb goes, and the larger hole is where your fingers fit into, okay? You should be able to fit your thumb in the small, at least 2 or 3 fingers in the larger hole, and then we open, close, okay? All right, so let's set aside our 1 scoop. All right, here comes my mint chocolate chip. And again, I have been cutting for many, many years, so I can cut pretty quickly, but you may take quite a bit more time on this, and that's perfectly natural. Okay, and here comes my strawberry ice cream scoop. There we go, cut that one out. And you can see I'm not being particularly careful about getting those scoops exactly the way that they're shaped, and that's fine. All right, so now we've got our 3 scoops. We're gonna set them aside for a minute, and we're going to go back to our big piece of construction paper. All right, now if you look at my sample, we are going to paint the cone, and I'm going to take my finger and outline that shape. Anyone know what shape that is? What is that shape? It's really a triangle, okay? So that's all we're going to be painting for our cone shape. So let's get our paint here. I'm gonna move my paint closer to me, my water, my paint brushes. All right, so I'm going to start with brown, and I'm going to put just a small amount of brown onto my plastic lid or my piece of aluminum foil. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white to this because I want it to be a little bit lighter than that color. And this is the really fun part, when we mix our colors. All right, let's put a little white on there. All right. And now I'm going to take my paintbrush, and I'm going to take a little bit of brown and mix it with some of the white. All right, I want kind of a light brown. All right, maybe a little darker. Ooh, I think that's good. All right, so this looks more chocolatey. All right, so there's a chocolate brown. Almost looks like hot chocolate, doesn't it? Okay, so my cone shape is going to be somewhere near the bottom of my paper so that I can fit all my scoops on top. All right, so here I'm going to make a triangle shape. All right. Here's my triangle, and I'm going to fill it in. All right, and you can see I don't need a whole lot of paint for this. It covers pretty well. All right, so here's my triangle shape, my cone. I think that looks pretty good. And now, if you look at my sample, I've added some lines on here because usually the cone has, it looks sort of like a waffle, all right? So we are going to add some waffle lines, I call them. All right, so I'm gonna rinse my brush just a little bit. Actually, I think I'm going to use my smaller brush now. All right, so I have a little bit smaller brush. And now these waffle lines need to be a little bit darker brown. So this time I'm going to use just the dark brown. All right, maybe with a tiny bit of lighter brown in it. All right, so basically I start at the top and I'm going to aim down towards that point at the bottom. All right, there we go. I think I'm going to make maybe 3 or 4 lines. Okay, here comes my second one. Starting at the top, moving towards the point. All right. Starting at the top, moving down towards the point. And you can see I have to keep dipping my paintbrush in paint to make sure there's enough paint on it. All right, here's my last line coming from the top down to the point. All right, and then you notice I come across those long lines, all right? So I'm gonna come across like this to make it look more like a waffle cone. All right, I think we've got a pretty good looking cone there. So now we're going to glue, set this aside for a minute. We're going to glue our ice cream scoops onto our cone, and you get to choose what order you want them to be in. I think I'm gonna have my sherbet on the bottom, my orange sherbet. Where's my glue? Here's my glue. And again, remember, we don't need a lot of glue for this. You can say a dot, not a lot. Dot, 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 dot. That should be plenty. Okay, there's my first scoop of ice cream. All right, I'm gonna have my mint chocolate chip next. Yum. Dot, 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 dot. Put it about there. I like the way that looks. Next comes my strawberry. Dot, 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 not a lot. And there's my strawberry. Oh my, this is making me hungry, friends. Okay, so if you look at my sample, I added something kind of crazy on top of my ice cream cone just because I thought it would be fun. I added some whipping cream on the top, and I'm going to do the same on this one. Okay. Oh, but before I do that, I'm actually going to add a few other elements to my ice cream. So in this particular sample, you'll see that I have these little dark spots. And I'm guessing, since I told you that that was mint chocolate chip, you probably guessed those were the chocolate chips. All right, so let's put those in. I need a little more brown. And I'm just gonna make some chocolate chips in here. Little chunks of chocolate chip. Okay, I think that's good. I'm going to add little pieces of strawberry on my strawberry scoop, which I'm going to need a little bit of red for that. All right, a little bit of red. And maybe I might mix a little bit of white in there. We'll see if I like this red or not. I think it's a little bright, so I'm going to add a tiny bit of white to it. Let's see what happens there. Yeah, I think I like that a little better. All right, so now I've got some sort of pinkish color. Let's add some strawberry chunks. Strawberries in our strawberry ice cream. All right, final step. We're going to add some whipping cream, and this time I'm going to use the little larger brush. All right, and I might need a paper towel. 1 second, Sophia, let me grab a paper towel. All right. Okay, so and if it's easier for you, you can always turn your paper the opposite way or upside down, because it was hard for me to reach way up there. So I'm going to take some of this white and I'm going to add some whipping cream. All right, I'm even going to use kind of like sort of whipping cream strokes, all right, to make it look a little puffy. All right, I have a lot of whipped cream on mine. Oh my. All right, there we go. I like the way that looks. All right. And if you look at my sample, something right on top there. What is it, my friends? Could it be a cherry? All right, let's add our cherry on top. So it's sort of like an ice cream cone sundae. All right, and there's my cherry, which is basically just a red circle. And I think I might be done. Let's take a look. I'm going to spin it back around. Ooh, I like the way my ice cream cones look, and I hope you like yours too. Okay, so Soph, if you want to come around the other side, I will say goodbye to friends. All right, friends, and always remember the main purpose of the lesson is to have fun, okay? Enjoy making your ice cream cones, and I'll see you next week.